I'm learning from Manjula not to be...
Not to be what?
Not to be as brutal.
As brutal.
I was going to say Sharath doesn't like B2C e-commerce.
Okay.
Instead I said Sharath likes.
Good. I'll take Guru Dakshina later.
Getting there. Okay.
We'll start?
Go for it.
So, welcome to the story of Tamaala. It's our baby. And there's an idea that was born in 2014. And the origin of the idea was that better half became professional artist about a decade back. And I was curating her shows across the country in Ahmedabad, Delhi and other markets. As a process, I also got to meet other artists. And I realized that there is two parts of the paradigm. There is a floundering, very talented artist, and there is also the confused customer who doesn't have choices or even channels to view and buy art-related products. So we said, hey, there's an opportunity. So we looked at the art market, and the art market in India is very small. It's just about 1,000 crores of India buy. So we said, why not introduce artists to bigger opportunities? So we said we look at gifting market, and we look at the non-furniture home decor market, and these could be bigger opportunities where artists get involved and we get traction overall for artists through the sell-through. So what were the models that we looked at before we started our business? Sorry for the aspect issue. So we looked at physical stores. So we have a physical store currently operating out of South Bangalore. And so we looked at art galleries, boutiques, and we looked at especially home decor stores from lifestyle shops to the large retail chains. That's about 80% of the all India business. The business we are looking at is about 70,000 crores in total value. We are saying if artists can take a chunk out of that, even if it's a small percentage, it's going to be a huge value business. Then there is e-commerce, which is the art commerce like Art Fruit, which is a Bangalore-based pattern, Majority Story Limited. And there's the online quiche and design brands like Happily Married, Shumbak, India Circus. And there's furniture and decor e-commerce. Value-wise, they're very low, but the marketing spends are huge. We're not doing much e-commerce right now, so that's going to be in the future. And there are other solution providers to large corporates, which are primarily driven by Chinese gift importers. So wherever it's a non-commodity driven, we are trying to educate the corporate and large value buyer into artistic based products. So iKen journey has been like this. While we had already started our business, but it got us thinking to do things in a sustainable way. Because this can get suddenly very inventory heavy and in terms of business values. So we started approaching large corporations. Currently our large corporations are only mid-level startups. So but it's good for getting in, commitments in terms of value deals. We moved into a physical store. We use that physical store to do events and get more PR and more buzz in the market. So kind of growing organically, but also gathering artistic partnerships along the way so that we are differentiating the experience and making fusion of different art forms and making it more interesting for the customer. So we have a mural artist, we have a caricature artist, which is the latest one, which we did a Jugalbandi. And we are also getting visual artists on board, and we are also working with traditional village artists. So we have a couple of them already signed up with us. And the future is e-commerce for us, on the basis of this background. Current metrics is that we bootstrapped, we kind of invested around 50 lakhs in various fronts over a period of a year and a half. Currently, we have month-on-month cash break-even with a lakh monthly turnover, and retail to corporate ratio being 70-30. Of course, the months that the corporate deals comes, it gets skewed towards corporate because there could be even a lakh worth of deal values. So we have 5 trademarks, and we have about 10 corporate clients with 2 repeat buys now, so that it's kind of stabilizing the market. We have about 450 customers since we opened retails in 1st of September, so 5% month-on-month repeat of those retail customers with a decent ticket size. The PR we have got written about in Mirror and Hindu Metro Plus, and regional PR has driven in 5 times more customers than English dailies. Vernacular PR is much more strong.
So one question, when you say cash break-even and then 1 lakh, is that your actual break-even level that you want to achieve, you already achieved?
We are currently at 1 lakh turnover.
No, you are at 1 lakh turnover, but what is the break even for it?
The break even is 1 lakh.
Okay, so you have broken even.
Broken even on expenses, but no salaries.
Okay.
No salaries for the founders.
Not all the expenses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You can't ignore founder salaries.
Yes.
So how much would you need to do to break even, including founder salaries and a margin? So in case down the road you want to sell it.
4 lakhs.
4 lakhs.
A month.
Okay.
So we are looking at quick background. So there is 7 years of customer experience for Suvarna Kamakshi. She brings in the core of the brand. She is the artist, and she also is the one who's forging the art partnerships and bringing in new forms of art on board. And with me, I've worked for about 18 years in various roles: sales, marketing, operations, and retail and merchandising. And so I handle the sales, marketing, and ops in the business. We have a bunch of marvelous interns. So we have students who have joined us from WITS, engineering students, Christ College MBA students, Chitrakala Parishad design students. So we love working with student interns. And it's really they who give us a lot of learning and take us forward. In terms of asks, these are the asks. I think our primary ask and most important ask in this forum is introductions to HR heads and admin heads in mid-size and large companies. That will help us a lot because breaking the, moving through the hierarchy is a little difficult. Startups is easy, you can get through founders maybe easily, but here we need some introductions.
So why do you need to talk HR and admin heads?
They are the ones who take the decisions.
Okay.
On admins takes a decision on facilities. So whether it's conference rooms for art or it's any space is their call. HR is people and team, gifting and client gifting also finally comes back to either HR plus the vertical head. But it's all driven primarily through HR. So some places like Oracle and all, vertical heads also take a call on gifting. But again, to penetrate large organizations, it requires some introduction.
Do you have any large organization you are working with yet?
Only CBRE, I would say, would be the largest. This is CB Richard Ellis, which does the facilities management for RMZ Group. But they came in through PR. They read us, and they had a ban on Chinese goods. Management said no to Chinese. So they said, okay, fine, we had no option but to come to you guys. So that is good.
And what are you doing for them?
We did that Diwali decor for RMC Tech Parks.
Okay.
They bought all the lanterns and terracotta products which were, made South Karnataka, made in Rajasthan and all that, which are part of our portfolio of offerings.
Would you like to make thinking of it as an aggregation platform? Artists and a lot of corporates.
No, so we don't want to be an aggregation platform. We would want to be a curated platform where we'll bring on board selected artists. The idea is that we have artistic partnerships already in place. So we have mural artists in place, we have caricature artists in place, but there is a curation in the whole thing. So it starts off with an event, let's say, which gives a touch and feel for an end customer as to what the final output is going to be. I got a caricature done, I get these products. So the same idea we then move online.
So from your side, there's a value addition between the artist and the customer.
Absolutely. And where it comes to traditional art also, we experiment with different forms in terracotta, metal and glass. But what works is what finally goes onto the e-commerce side. So the testing happens in retail and then we want to move that into e-commerce.
So one more thing to understand, are the artists breaking even already?
Yes.
So in your business right now, each artist is actually making money,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
At the price at which they're selling.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So it's only your
Yes.
venture. Okay.
Yes. So the idea is that we have to bring on board artists and enable they earn to make sure that we come at a secondary level. That's how the model will work eventually. And I guess there are two points at which we will need some money. Though we are operating at a low level of SKUs, we have 200 SKUs, we are controlling the total number. We don't want to go into too big SKUs because that becomes very difficult to manage as a retail establishment. But we will need some money for inventory and some money for investment. If that eventually comes through customers, it will be ideal. I mean, effectually. But in e-commerce, again, we feel that either we get a tech co-founder on board, or we have to invest, because it seems to be very difficult to make any space in a world where everyone is spending so heavily in e-commerce in India.
Yeah, the e-commerce seems just tagged on to this. I think the real thing you want to do is, so now people do these events for corporates, right?
Yes.
So, so you're doing events, I can see, for, like, they seem to be art events. I mean,
Yes.
have you thought about just going and participating in corporate events where a lot of people come for a conference, or for, they have these, like the 100 open startups, that's these things where corporate partnerships.
We would love to do that. So
Yeah, I
we'll
think
start
that may be the way to go instead of going to individual. Given that, see, if you go to an individual company, they're going to require customized stuff, right? Something that carries their brand, or which is very different from what you're trying to do. So the issue would be to say, who would want to buy the current art that is actually available, your current inventory at any given point of time. So it seems to me, if you could really bring up, you become the events person for art. Forget all the other stuff is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
You already have a store, but I don't think that is an actual art corporate event thing in India.
Yes.
So I would think about something like that. I would really try to create that. What would that look like?
Yes.
Initially, you partner with somebody who has actually done it successfully. So the level 3, level 4 events that 100 open startups does for corporates, right? They've got like 300 people showing up.
That'd be
And
fabulous.
if you can partner with them, or even ask them to create the event for you, so you can specialize in that. It seems to me, given everything you're doing, that seems to be the most doable thing for me
Fabulous.
for scale. Right? Because you already opened the door, so you're
Sure.
not a startup in the normal sense of the word. So that's where I would focus on. What is nobody doing? There's
Sure.
no real art event for corporates.
Absolutely. You're right.
I say go invent that.
Sure.
Think about how you would do that. So that in this case, that seems to be the thing, really new thing, new idea you could do.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think you will have to educate artists. So a lot of artists are against some of this stuff. So that's the other piece you'll have to do. But if you create an event, then other people will show up.
See, the
as well.
issue with artists, and since we know at least 100 artists personally, is that because of lack of opportunity, you tend to become very closed and very
Correct.
depressed. You know, the average Indian artist is
Correct.
always very depressed.
Yeah.
And
That's why they make art.
Yeah.
yeah. There is an argument to one. You can say Pablo Picasso made all his work in depressed and he died in penury, and today his works sell in millions. But I don't think that's the way for every artist to go.
Yeah.
I think there has to be a balance
They have to go with something.
between creation and making some money.
Yeah. No,
We need to wrap up again.
Yeah, that's why I said, anyway, I think do the event, talk to Varad or talk to somebody
Sure.
over there.
So the idea is, I mean, the final slide was we have happiness on both